The Rebel Capitalist Show.
I recently, a year and a half ago, bought a ranch up in the mountains. I've got my own river, and so I've got a water supply, and there is uh, no farming or grazing or even trails between the highest point in Puerto Rico and my farm. So this is pristine water, pristine air, and I've got solar panels and Tesla power walls. So I'm going completely off the grid, and we are already planting up there. So uh, I am trying to do something where I'm growing really healthy food for myself. In Puerto Rico, you discover that the society here doesn't particularly care for vegetables. I'm somebody that needs a lot of broccoli and spinach and kale and
I'm
things like
laughing because I've lived there before, so I know exactly
that.
what you're saying.
Right.
The
It's
deep
all
fried
meat.
plantains don't do it for you, Mike?
Yeah, plantains, rice, and meat. Right. So starch and meat, and my body just needs a lot of vegetables. And so we bought all these seeds that were engineered in Florida, so they're engineered for hot, humid climates. My temperature up there is always 10 degrees lower. So it's somewhere between 8 and 15 degrees lower than in San Juan, where I'm at now. And so we should be able to grow broccoli and asparagus, spinach, and things that they don't grow in Puerto Rico. One of the things I want to do is, be able to supply local markets and things like that So that's sort of a side venture, but it's also my escape plan. It is just beautiful up there, and having your own river, and there's a portion of it where I can see the north coast and the south coast of Puerto Rico from one spot. That's where I'm going to build my house. I'm going to sit in front of a campfire, grilling a bison steak, in New York, uh, and with a beer in my hand and that spectacular view.
Yeah.
So,
And I want to point out to my listeners that there are a lot of very smart, wise people that I know in my network doing the exact same thing. Whether it's
yeah.
you, whether it's Mark Moss, whether it's Lynette Zhang, Mike Dillard, uh, Kiyosaki, Kenny McElroy, they're all doing the exact same thing. So that in and of itself, I think should make most people kind of take pause and saying, okay, these people are really, really smart. Why are they doing this? And what can I learn from it?
Yeah, the problem here has been supply chain disruptions, things like solar water heaters, doors and windows. I mean, we're about to get all of our doors and windows. I mean, I found this. We actually were driving through all of the greenery because this farm was abandoned after the hurricane, and the greenery, even on the roads, had grown up 8 feet tall. So you just drive through it in this little farm vehicle, four-wheel drive farm vehicle. It's a John Deere, and the greenery is just falling down right in front of you. And my farm manager is driving along, and he goes, "Bam!" and he hits something and gets out, and he starts pulling back the vines, and there's a cement wall there.
Oh,
And he keeps on pulling back the vines, and he found his house. And he lives in there now. There's no doors and windows, so it's got solar power and high-speed internet, but no doors and windows. So he lives in it in a tent.
Yeah, you got to prioritize, right, Mike?
In a month, we've got the windows are done. The doors are being made finally. Actually, the doors are done for his house. My house, the doors and windows are done. So my house, and I added on to my little house, but it was this super solid structure made 80 years ago that was actually used for housing goats.
And that's where you're living?
The floors were covered with something I don't want to say on your video, but it's all been pressure washed.
Yeah.
But I go up there and I sleep in this little house that was built for poor people. Some contractor built like hundreds of these up in the mountains, same cookie cutter floor plan. 2 tiny little bedrooms, a main room that's, your dining room, living room, whatever, and a kitchen and no indoor bathroom. When I added a master bath and a kitchen, it doubled the square footage of the house. And I added a 2-car garage that is bigger than the original house. That's my base camp. Well, I plan on, on my mountaintop, it gets pretty windy up there, and I plan on building a temporary structure to be able to camp up there and experience it, where I can see both sides of the island from one spot. So, but yeah, we're going all solar, and all of these smart people that you mentioned, they're all trying to get ready for something that they see coming at them, and they don't know when it's going to arrive. Right. And all of us, even though I'm heavily invested in cryptos and precious metals, I pray the moment doesn't come. I don't want gold to go to $40,000 an ounce. I don't want Bitcoin at $150,000, $300,000 an ounce, a coin, 500,000 a Bitcoin. I've got several different cryptos. It's great in a temporary run up to be able to sell some of this and turn it into solar panels. And I'm going to put in some hydroelectric, because I've got one pond and in a very short distance, a large pond with a constant water feed from the side of the mountain. And in a very short distance, a more than 200-foot elevation change. And I can put in a hydroelectric there. And I can even use that pond as a battery, put in a bunch of solar panels, pump water back up to the pond in the daytime. And then
Mike, I want to point out, I want to highlight something you just said there that I want the viewers to pay attention to. And you said that I don't want my gold to go to $40,000 an ounce. I don't want my Bitcoin to go to $500,000 a coin. Yeah. The reason is, folks, because at the end of the day, I would argue that wealth isn't even money. Wealth is goods.
No, it's not.
It's goods and services and productivity. And I think what Mike is saying there, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, is that in a world where gold is $40,000 an ounce or Bitcoin is 500,000, there is a hell of a lot less stuff. Therefore,
well, if that happens 50 years from now and it's a slow progression, it's just
I'm talking about the next couple of years.
But if it happens in just a couple of years, it means that the world is a very different place.
That's right.
And you probably won't be able to buy something like a solar panel unless it's something. It means that a lot of companies are out of business. It means that the whole global GDP has slowed down. It means that, if it's because of inflation of the currency supply, it means that wealth is being stolen from the poor and middle class and transferred to people that derive their wealth by their stock portfolios, and the Federal Reserve is responsible for it. But it's theft nonetheless. So I just don't want. I want to see a world that is fair and equitable and prosperous.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the world that I'm trying to help create.
Yeah, and to get there, to your point, we need sound money and we need smaller government, whether it's smaller Russian government or smaller U.S. government. We need smaller government.
Yes, here in Puerto Rico, when you look, at least Wikipedia, I believe, says 23.4% of the people derive their income from the government somehow. So that's either somebody working directly for the government, or somebody that's got a private business that contracts to clean the government buildings or something like that. If your income is being derived through taxation, then if there's no society that's really successful on the planet, once you pass 18%, it's just too many people that aren't actually providing a real product or service that people would willingly open up their wallets and buy. When you go into any government agency, next time, I just got my driver's license renewed. In Puerto Rico, you've got to have your original birth certificate, your original social security card, and past a certain age, I had to have a notarized letter from my cardiologist. So it took 3 days of my life to renew my driver's license. And then when I get it, it says that it's not an official ID. It can't be used for identification purposes. So I can't use this to fly back and forth to the United States. They won't let me back into Puerto Rico. And so it's because my passport was had expired. And so now I got to renew my passport and then go and get my driver's license again.
Yeah, right.
And in each place, there's a bunch of people that are being paid, and they're being paid better than the private sector pays somebody for a similar job.
Right.
That all comes out of taxation. So they're imposing all of this, they're making you use up a whole bunch of, I was amazed. I was going to move to the state of Washington. I leased a place up there. I was going to move my business up there. I walked in to get a Washington driver's license, and I walked out 15 minutes later and in California, it would take at least 4 hours. It's government run in California. Well, here it takes 3 days. It's government run here. In the state of Washington, they subcontract it out to private industry. Then I went to register at a 2011 Tesla Roadster and a 2012 Tesla Model S. And I went to register them, and I walked in with the titles, and I had paid cash for them. So there's no liens on them. And they gave me plates, and I walked out. It was 10 minutes to register 2 cars that weren't even in the state of Washington. They were in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I registered them. It was unbelievable, the difference between private industry trying to be efficient and make a profit at a far lower cost. They're turning a profit. And then what government does for you. Anybody that thinks that government is the solution, just think about what you're purchasing from government the next time you're in traffic. Next time you're sitting in stop and go traffic. This is the product that government delivers.
Yeah, there you go.